7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
The Savachi syndrome, I'm telling you, I'm
like, well, holy shit, that was crazy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show presented by TLR Coatings. And for anyone wondering, yes, I am wearing the same shirt as I wore Thursday. This is only the second time I've worn this shirt. I wore it for the 5-minute shoot to do the video Thursday, and now we're in it again. Deal with it.
Nobody cares.
All right, let's get on to this. So, like I said, another episode, Moto Aftermath Show, presented by TLR Coatings. We are wrapping up our first motor of the year. Possible first of a couple, but we're not sure yet. We'll see in a couple weeks. And Seattle, and it rained a lot. Shocker.
For like
not really.
For like 2 weeks straight.
Yes. So anyway, before we get started, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Please, please, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get back up to our 1,000 subscribers here so that we can go back to monetizing because I owe this guy money. Yes. So make sure, like I said, subscribe. Subscribe. That's all I'm saying, except for one more subscribe at the end. Anyway. Subscribe. Make sure to follow us on Facebook. We have a page, the Moto Aftermath Show, and we do our Thursday preview show for the upcoming race, for the upcoming weekend. I don't have an exact time. Like, this one goes live on 2 o'clock on Tuesday, but I don't have an exact time on Thursday because I usually do the show by myself. I never know when I'm going to film it, yada, yada, yada. Schedule, work. Yeah, ooh, yeah, there we are. So anyway, you can also follow me on Instagram. I put up my fantasy pics on Instagram. I will show the thing down here. Boop, boop. Anyway, and you can follow me on there. I do motocross, supercross pics and videos and stuff when I go to races. If you want to support the show outside of subscribing, we have Amazon links down below. Click on one of those. You go into Amazon. As soon as you click the link, it'll pull up an Amazon page for something. You don't have to buy what it pulls up. You can just go through Amazon that way and buy something, and we get a small slice of that. That helps out. You can also go on Patreon and donate. I will link that down below. Adam, who is supporting us on Patreon, I did mail you something that you probably should have already.
I have no idea what it is.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
It was not a lot, and it was not anything crazy. And I'm sorry, but we are broke.
Was it a rice cake?
It was not a rice cake.
Damn it.
We had a little more money in the budget than that. But yes, so go on, support us on Patreon. I will send you guys some stuff. I don't know what. Maybe I'll start just sending random things from my house.
We'll just send a picture next time of us.
I thought about calling you and being like, hey, come over, we got to take a Christmas card picture and send that. So, yeah, so like I said, you can support us on Patreon. If you want to get t-shirts, teespring.com/, I don't know, I'll link it down below. To be real honest with you, we do have one t-shirt on there. At some point, I'm going to take a day off from my powder coating job and design some more shirts because I have a couple ideas that have been floating around. When I take my breaks in the afternoon to go to the gym, the ideas just start flowing. It's amazing. But anyway, so there is one shirt on there. Like I said, I will link it down below. If you buy that, we can get a small slice of that, which is awesome. Helps us out. Okay, let's get into this. Track, obviously wet. Obviously muddy, obviously destroyed. Thoughts?
I'm going to stand by what I said last night. Whose ever dumb idea was it fell to have a Supercross race at an open dome stadium in Washington at the beginning of April needs to get slapped repeatedly with a fish.
I wouldn't disagree, but the thing is, okay, so you said that last night. And I started thinking, I'm like, where else could we go, you know, that's domed or whatever. You know, maybe not even in the state of Washington necessarily, but anywhere. And, I mean, there's only so many places we can go.
The only place that I could think of with it, obviously, because it would have to stay in the West Coast, there's no real places left in Washington that have a stadium that can hold a Supercross race. Probably have to go somewhere in Colorado. But then again, you're still in an open... Well, actually, no. I think Mile High Stadium has a retractable roof where the Denver Broncos play. I think that'd be the only other place you could go there because I think they have a retractable roof. I'm not 100% positive. I mean, I know this is hit or miss and it's part of Supercross, but let's be real. It was wild. Like, I'm not one of... I saw a bunch of people on the forums last night. They were bitching and complaining, oh my God, you know, I don't want to watch the best in the world dog pedal around, you know, like a bunch of squids. But the one thing that we said is mud's the great equalizer because not everybody can ride it.
And it was.
And it was. And really, the points didn't change too much in the 450 class, a little bit in the favor in the 250 class. But it makes for things interesting. But also, let's be real, though. The next 3 out of 4 races are all open dome. And one of them is going to be here on the East Coast in 2 weeks. And it could be 22 degrees and snowing at Gillette Stadium.
Could be.
So, I mean, I get it. You know, you work with what you got. You already have these things pre-planned. Dave Prater and Todd Gendro at Feld already usually get these schedules, you know, try to set a couple years in advance because they have contracts with these different people. But I'm sorry, man, just having a race in April, like, if they're going to do this race, they need to do it in, like, January. Because January in Washington, it's cold, but you're not into the spring season, and there's not a lot of, they get snow in Seattle, but not that much. You'd have a better shot at doing it earlier in the year than you would in springtime. That's just my opinion.
In January, football season, man.
That's true.
So
well, I mean, February
I mean, yeah, they did the best with what they could, but again, like I said, I was trying to think of like, okay, yeah, West Coast, where could we go? There isn't anywhere. I mean, what are you going to do? Go back to California again?
No.
I mean, you've already got 20 races in California
like I said,
season, so...
I think the best they could do is they go to Colorado. I think that's it. You know, like I said, I'm pretty sure that Denver has a retractable roof. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But they need to figure something out. It's just not a good idea. I mean, but they did what they could. And, yeah, I mean, it was bad, though. And it could have been a lot worse because it looked like it was supposed to get a monsoon and they lucked out. Yeah. So... And, you know, people talking about, well, I don't want to pay to see the best in the world dog paddle. You know, I will agree the racing was not the most exciting thing, but it definitely created some action storylines along, okay, who's going to finish? Especially when you go through the first heat and AC blows his clutch up with half a lap left. Like, you see that and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, shit. Like, anybody could do, like, Jason Anderson could have blown his clutch halfway through that main and finished 22nd. Or, you know, if they blow their clutch in the heat, they blow their clutch in the LCQ, and next thing you have someone who doesn't even qualify for the main, who is a big deal, you know? So, it made it interesting. Do I want to see this every weekend? No. Absolutely not. But it definitely was... Like I said, the only one I'm really worried about is Gillette in 2 weeks. That's the only one I'm really worried about because the East Coast had just got a snowstorm. For anybody that doesn't know, the East Coast just got hammered with like 10, 15 inches of snow, and it's only in 2 weeks. And rain is one thing. We can deal with rain. We can deal with monsoons. The only time we ever cancel is lightning. But snow,
snow would be fun.
That's hard. And I mean, and even if you could push it off.
Snow bike races. Yes.
I mean, in all reality, though, you're talking about, even if they can push the snow off, okay, cold, whatever, they allow more jackets, you know, bikes are a lot easier to tune. But that dirt is going to be terrible if it snows. So, I mean, that's the only one I'm really worried about is in 2 weeks at Gillette, if they get more snow, because it's a possibility.
I don't know why these football teams who play in these climates where it's not ideal don't all have indoor stadiums.
Yeah,
I will never understand how Green Bay has an open dome stadium for a sport
when half of their games are a negative degree.
Yes. That is the dumbest thing in the world to me.
But, I mean, there was nothing really else to say about the track. I mean, it's a typical mud race, you know, so.
And they pushed the whoops out, which we both agreed was probably a good move, even though it wasn't the coolest thing in the world. But
flat in the face of the triples.
Yeah, so they did what they could, so. Anything else to track before we move on?
Are you surprised, and I know because the traction's not there, but were you a little surprised at least one person, even in practice, didn't try to huck a triple? I figured some dude was just going to bonsai, like maybe a Bowers or something. Yeah. I'm a little surprised. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just a little surprised not one person tried. I mean, he did have,
what's his name? Anderson looked like he was going to try to huck the finish line.
Oh, yeah.
Times. And there were a couple dudes in the 250B practice that did, but the 250B practice, I think they got lucky because it wasn't raining yet.
Yep.
So
that was the one thing I was a little surprised that at least one person didn't try to huck a triple.
There was nothing.
No. So.
All right, cool. Let's move on. 450s. All right, 450s. Where do you want to start on this?
We can go from top to bottom, bottom to top.
It really doesn't matter. It wasn't anything super duper wild. Okay, so let's talk about Chad Reed, and he can't keep his bike together in a mud race.
Dude. Second straight time,
Poor
mud
guy.
race, blows the clutch out.
Poor guy.
Hey, though, at least he had the mentality to actually try to keep pushing and hit the trip timing and stuff. But you know, he was on his he was in fifth before Coop and Bowers got around him and stuff. I mean, everybody said if there was going to be one wild card, it was going to be Chad because Chad can ride mud. You know, so. I mean, I kind of feel bad for him and stuff. He ended up getting 7th, his best finish of the year, because I think up to that point, his best finish was like a 9th maybe in overall. I know he got 8th in one of the mains at the Atlanta Triple Crown, but I think his overall was like a 9th. So, I mean, you know, he's steadily getting there, but the problem is there's only 4 rounds to go.
Yeah.
So...
But everybody, from what I hear, man, and I've been listening to some different podcasts, because I have a lot of time on my hands in the shop now, he's coming back next year. Yeah, I've heard that. He'll be 37 by the end of that, but, man... Dude, I don't know. I don't know what his contracts are with like Boost or T-Mobile or Boost Mobile of Australia or whatever it is, but you got to think that they're not happy with the way this went, and I'm curious how much more sponsorship. I mean, they're probably not stoked with how the season went, but they probably had to know, like going in hurt, hadn't rode, like this is the kind of shit you're gonna get. But let me ask you this, okay? He's done so much, and now he's of the age. And now you know as well as I do, I'm not a Chad Reed fan.
Well, neither am I.
But
I respect him, and that's it.
Yeah, but at this point, he has such a fan base. Do you shell out that money because of the fan base? Basically?
You get the exposure.
Is what you're doing. And as long as he's still putting it in the show, like putting it in the main. Okay, so here's my question then. If he comes back next year, 37 years old by the end of it, because I think he just turned 36 or turning 36 next week. So, yeah, he'll be 37 by the end of next year. Even if he comes in healthy and we get all the guys back, and we know that, you know, he's only been doing a little bit better because a lot of guys are out, what's realistically, even if he's healthy and at age 37, could he even do? Because then you're thinking about, okay, 37, that's another year, and it's just more wear on your body. I mean, dude, I can't see him, even at his best, when everybody's there, being better than a 10th guy. I mean, you're missing so many guys right now, and he's barely getting in the top 10. Yeah. And granted, still, the ankle, he's still doing limited amount of testing, limited riding, more than he did at the beginning of the year. Once again, 37 years old, that's unheard of. I mean, I get it. I know he doesn't want to hang the boots up yet, but damn, like, what can he really do that's even worth it? I mean, dude, he's putting it in the main. Let's put it this way. That's better than 90% of those SoCal kids that are pros at this point, because they would go out there and not even put it. So he's putting it in the main. No, man, I see him basically, if everyone's healthy in riding, or well, healthy-ish, you know, whatever, they're at least riding. I see him as top 15 is all. I think there's always going to be those few privateers or those guys that have issues that he's going to be able to beat. I think he's a little bit better at this point now of being able to get through the season and not get hurt. But yeah, no, I don't see him winning or anything. Oh no, I don't think he's got that. I don't think he's got podiums. It's never gonna happen. The only way I see him doing some crazy crap like that is on a night like that, in the part of the season like this where everyone's hurt and there's not as many dudes. Then I could see him, you know, maybe getting lucky and he puts it on the box or in the, you know, on the top of the box, whatever. But that's the only way I see that. Other than that, no, I don't see him. You know what I'd like to see him do, though? Not that I care, but it'd be better for Boost Mobile, more exposure. Do a couple nationals this summer. Just do like 1 or 2. Come to the ones of your favorite tracks. He likes Millville. He likes Redbud. You know, he likes Washougal. Just go to a couple of them. He doesn't even have to come with a rig. Come with a box van that says Boost Mobile on it and all that crap. Come and still show the fans, hey, man, at least I care about you guys, too. Because we know there are guys that are diehard outdoor guys, fans that won't go to Supercrosses because they only care about outdoors. Go to a few. You don't have to go to every one of them. Go to like 3 and just show up. He can still make the nationals. So or you could do that and also go run a GP or something. Yeah, he tried that a couple years ago. Have some fun with it. Who cares, man? I mean, he's got the money. Let's be real. If you could set your own schedule for outdoors, I mean, do what you want to do, pretty much. So. Okay, so Jason Anderson, were you a little surprised by how much he was going for it last night? I still stand by that Eli got a gift. I don't think Eli was going to win that. Ando got down, and I checked it this morning, and their lap times were pretty close. Yeah. But Ando still had the fastest lap in the main. I think Anderson was going to win that had he not gone down. I think so, too. I really do. Anderson, in my opinion, was the fastest guy last night.
Because, yeah, I was surprised. He was willing.
Right?
He was willing to hang it out. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Even in practice, I'm like, what are you doing?
I know. I'm watching practice, and he's just like,
well, yeah, and then
and I'm like, what? Stop.
And then in the switchback, when he came back around, like he's starting an inside rut, completely cross ruts, loads up on the clutch, go to the outside berm, and like setting up to huck the finish. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, bro, there's 3 privateers in front of you.
Just qualify.
Like,
just put it in the main. Just finish in the top 15. You're fine. But no, dude, he was going for it. He was like, this is my shit. Which is funny from a Southern California kid who doesn't, or a New Mexico, whatever.
He doesn't ride
mud.
No, he doesn't. I'm not, you know, he's got, even though he is a little erratic and stuff, his technique's not great, but because he's loose on the bike, on the mud, you got to be light on the bike. And it fits Ando's style. He will let the bike overcorrect itself, and then he'll stay centered and then adapt. And, you know, that's why he does so good. But, yeah, I was a little surprised that he
was going that fast.
So, okay, question. I was thinking about this morning, and there's no reason to think this because of the last 3 rounds, how Marv has done. But does Ando wrap it up after the night's over with in Salt Lake, or does this at least go down to Vegas? Obviously, he's going to win the title, but does he have the title sewn up after Salt Lake's over with? Because it's 35 on Marv right now.
I think so. I have a hard time seeing him lose 10 points in the next 2 weeks.
So you think after no matter what happens, Salt Lake, he's holding that red plate?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so too.
So now here's another question, and I don't want to dive too deep into it. Do you think he destroys outdoors, or does he have the Supercross title hangover in outdoors and doesn't do fucking anything outside? Because I've heard a lot of the secondary and not a lot of the first area.
Well, and you know, and once again, we're not trying to dive too deep into it, but because there's not a lot to talk about, I guess we can expand a little bit. I mean, people think that Ando is a Supercross guy only, and because that's his only title to date was a 250 Supercross title. But let's not forget, before Anderson got hurt last year, going into Redbud, I mean, he was Baggett speed. He wasn't Eli speed. He was Baggett speed. I mean, we saw what he did at Redbud, dude. Dead last in the first turn, comes all the way back to 3rd, and sets the 2nd fastest lap of the weekend. I mean, I don't think he's going to win the title, per se, outdoors, but I think Anderson is so mentally strong that I don't think stuff like that is going to get in him. He's literally probably going to win this title and be like, okay, it's over with. Now it's time to go to outdoors, because I think he wants to win so bad. I think he wants to prove that this is because he's going to have that chip on his shoulder. I think that a lot of people think that this is a fluky title, and I don't subscribe to that. You don't win Supercross titles 17 rounds by being a fluke. You still have to be consistent, and Anderson has showed that to this point. I think he's going to be one of the title favorites. I don't think it's a hangover. There's no way. Anybody that thinks he's just going to go in and get yarded wasn't paying attention to the last couple of years. I mean, he's won motos outdoors before. Yeah. And look what he did, and I know that it's one moto, but he did beat Jeffrey Hurlings at the MX of Nations 2 years ago before he got landed on. So it's not like he's terrible outdoors.
Yeah, but I don't know that he's beating Hurlings now.
No, he's not. No. Oh, no. There might not be anybody in the world right now that can beat Hurlings and stuff. But he's not terrible outdoors. It's not like he's going to go from winning this title and then all of a sudden he's going to be battling for 8th outdoors. So, no, I don't think there's going to be a hangover.
Okay. Tomac gets the win, 6th of the year.
Little surprised.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, though, if Ando hadn't gone down, I don't think he was catching him and winning this race. But he was pretty good. Dude, won his heat race by 30 seconds.
He was good.
That was impressive on the heat.
Now, yeah, he was pretty good and stuff. It didn't, obviously, because it didn't downpour, and that's why I made the comments that I did earlier in the week in the group text that he's not a mud guy. I was thinking that it was just going to keep downpouring, and like I said, we were talking like 4-foot deep mud, but because it was just greasy and grippy, I think it benefited him because of the ruts, the way the ruts flowed and stuff. He could just drop in and roll through. But yeah, I was a little surprised. But yeah, no, I still don't believe had Ando gone down, he was going to win. I mean, he was making time, but he still had 6.9 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He was good. He was fast, but he wasn't that good.
Yep.
So Marv was a little tentative last night.
Were you surprised that he was that, like, I picked him for the win. I saw that you picked Eli to win in the fantasy thing.
Yeah.
But were you surprised he was that far off?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like,
I thought he was going to be better because this was his kind of, this track was his kind of track. It was tight, it was technical, whatever, and then you throw on top of it the mud and the deep ruts and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you're like, dude,
I was a little surprised. I mean, what? He was like 35 seconds back at the finish.
Yeah, he was a long
ways off. And I don't watch the press conference or anything, but I saw a little snippet from an interview he did with Vital and stuff, and he just said he couldn't get into a groove.
Yeah, he said he was more tentative than he should be. He said on the podium, he said it in the press conference. Yeah, he was way more tentative than he should have been. He knows that. So, the Bowers, Coupe, Reed battle.
Were you surprised that, I mean, once again, mud race, so
Was
we
I
can't put a lot of
surprised at
stock.
Coop? Yeah.
Because, well, I had heard, like, all the
say,
report he wasn't even supposed to ride this weekend.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, he's out. But what was funny is because I was going to say, well, I saw videos of him testing for outdoors at Daxton Bennett compound and stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. He's testing for outdoors, but yet he's not going to ride this weekend. And I'm thinking, okay, this is really a thing. He doesn't want to ride. You know, it's the Yamaha, it's the bike. But I was a little surprised he got 5th. I really was.
Yeah.
You know?
That was quietly impressive. Same thing with Tickle. Quietly impressive in 4th.
Do we put... man, once again, it's hard because he's getting better, but do we put a lot of stock into this?
No. Not yet.
And even with Indy last weekend, or 2 weekends ago and stuff, running second, but once again, with what had happened, I mean, you got...
It's okay. It's again. Now this is where I show that I am not biased because you know I like Tickle and I called coming in the season he was going to be really really good because new program, new everything, and obviously he's not. So now here he's had a shitty year up to this point. He's had 2 decent finishes in a row now in the top 5.
7th in the points.
And I'm still going. I'm not impressed yet.
So
now if he goes the next 3 rounds and puts it in the top 5. In Minneapolis, you know,
Salt Lake, Vegas,
Gillette, Gillette goes top 5, 3 out of those 4. Then I might go, okay, he's making improvements, and we'll see how outdoors goes.
But if he does bad in outdoors, are we still standing by that he's not on that team next year?
Yeah, no way, not a chance in hell. He needs to, I'm not even gonna say necessarily put it on the box, but he needs to put it in the top 5 more weekends than not, in order to keep that ride.
And then kind of hovering of where we think's like 7 to 10 on most weekends.
Yes.
Yeah, and with everybody coming back, well, most everybody, that's going to be really hard to do. Yes, when you're talking about Cooper Webb and Dean Wilson and Weston Pike being the back end of the slower of the top 10, that's really tough. Yes. So, yeah. Yep.
So I got to ask you a question. With Coop, do you think, this is the last thing we're going to cover before we go to 250s. With Coop, do you think it's a bike change he needs, or... was he just overhyped coming into the 450 class?
I don't believe that. I don't think you can be that successful in the 250 class and come in overhyped. Now, I still stand by that his technique does not fit because he is a smaller guy. He rides way too far at the front of the bike, especially with that being a top-heavy bike. He needs to work on things. You're going to laugh at this, but it's kind of ironic. I think it's a Barsha thing. I think he's exactly like Barsha. He's getting paid a lot of money, and he's not gelling with the team. He's not gelling with the team. Now, I'm not saying it's the exact thing because I think Barsha's thing was more mental, but I think it's just, I don't think Coop gets along with everybody at Yamaha. I think that a lot of people like, hey, dude, you're going to be our savior since the Chad Reed days, and that's a lot to put on somebody coming into the 450 class because let's be real. We, and a lot of people, other people agreed that it was going to take a little bit of a learning curve. It always did. But because he did, he came in and did so well at those MX of Nations race, being a 250 guy, barely having any time on the bike, and then everybody came in, oh, he's going to be a championship contender right away. We didn't believe that, and there were other people that didn't, but there was a lot of people that did. And I'm thinking, man, that's a lot to put on a dude that's just coming into the 450 class. I mean, Kenny and Eli weren't even expected to win their rookie years.
So, do you think... because obviously we keep hearing rumors that he's out. Although I've heard that the KTM rumor of him going there for next year is not really there.
Yeah, anymore. I've heard that that's kind of died down.
So do you think if he goes somewhere like... so this is what I think, because obviously we kind of agree here that he has he's not fitting with the Yamaha and the group there. What if he goes to like a JGR?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And he's in North Carolina where he's from.
He's ridden for JGR as an amateur. He used to
rode
train
for them. Yep.
And he has a relationship with J-Bone, and he has a relationship with Dean Baker and all those guys. I think he needs to go to the JG. I really do. I think it would work for him. It's where his compound's at. It's where he likes to stay. He's an East Coast dude. He's close to his parents in North Carolina. Go to JGR. Don't go to a full-on factory team because Weston is signed up. It kind of sounds like Bogle might be getting booted after this year. I don't think Malcolm rides outdoors because I just don't think that they're going to take that chance. I say go to JGR.
If he's funding his own stuff like he supposedly is right now for Supercross, and he wants to ride it, and he can get them to or people to fund it, I mean, I don't.
Let me preface my comments. I think that he might get a chance, but I don't think it's going to be worth a damn because I don't think he puts in the effort coming outdoors and training and stuff.
Maybe.
But I think Coop needs to. I don't think he ends up at Red Bull. I think that he should go to JGR. I really do.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought too. And I've been listening to a lot of other podcasts other than our normal pulp stuff that we listen to this week. Like I said, I have a lot of free time on my hands while I'm sandblasting and stuff. So anyway,
he needs a change of scenery.
Yeah, he does for sure. So anything else 450s before we? I'm
kind of happy for Bowers getting a 6th. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was good.
Good for him.
That was good. That was good. So makes that Monster Cowie spot a little better because I think he's a good fit there.
Well,
so.
JG's supposed to be coming back
supposedly
for the last 2 rounds. So
supposedly,
we'll see. Yep,
we'll
supposedly.
See. So
we'll see.
All right, cool. Let's move on. 250s then.
Okay.
So 250s here, there's not a lot to cover here. Should we talk about AC's huge spode move of blowing the clutch up with half a lap to go in the heat race?
He just laughed
Sucks.
it off.
What the hell, AC?
He just laughed it off.
I know, it was dumb. Huge spode move. I was just laughing as he's just standing there going,
what am I going to do?
I don't know. Just leave the bike there. I'm over it.
Screw it.
Oh, God. So that was good, but rebounded for 3rd on the night, which, you know, decent race. I didn't think it was bad. So, as he said in the press conference, he's not super stoked because obviously he wants to win. He wants to make up points, but he's still on the podium, so whatever.
I still don't think he gets a win by the end of this year.
I think he wins Vegas.
I think he only wins Vegas if AP's not actually trying.
I think he wins Vegas. That's what I'm going to say. That's where I'm going to go with this. I'm not going to put any caveats in it. I'm not going to put any
don't think he wins
points. I just think he wins Vegas. That's it.
All right.
So, Sexton.
Dude,
career best.
Just keep building, man. Just keep building, bro. Just keeps building. How much? Oh, dude, I'm just stoked for the kid. I mean, you got to hand it to him with Shane going down, but, I mean, he was in a solid 3rd.
Maybe he wins Seattle or something.
Maybe he wins Vegas.
Maybe. Nah, AC's winning Vegas. AC likes Vegas too much. But maybe he wins Seattle. Or maybe wins the heat race in Vegas. That could be a thing. I mean,
you know what?
Guys.
You call AC, I call Sexton wins Vegas.
All right, whatever, man. It's fine.
Watch, neither of them are going to win.
That's fine. And probably the least shocking thing of the night, AP wins.
Dude, he rode
by 37 seconds.
Well, and apparently he proved that he can just, ride a quarter of the track without his feet on the pegs and his ass in the air.
That is also a thing.
And he probably was faster in those sections than 90% of the dudes were.
It was. It's unreal how good that kid is in mud.
Dude, fucking growing up riding GNCCs, man. Just, he's a beast, man. He's so lengthy, and he uses his lower body to his advantage.
You want your kids to be good at motocross? GNCCs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
On your off weekends.
Yep. No, he's just, I mean, we kind of all figured that was going to happen and stuff, and, he's got 17 points now with Joey's problems last night, and even AC getting 3rd, but, I mean... Dude, he's not gonna. There's nobody that's gonna beat him, and there was, in my opinion, there was nobody that was going to beat him no matter what. AP's
got this wrapped up, man.
And I still stand by my comment last night that AP is the best of both coasts.
Yes,
I think he's gonna win.
How much obscene amount of money are 450 teams throwing at him for next year?
Well, it sounds like Yamaha, if Coop goes, is gonna.
How much obscene amount of money though is he making? How many millions do you think they're throwing at him?
Oh, I can guarantee he's gonna be the highest paid dude in a while. Coming out of the 250s, probably if he wins this title, which he's going to. Like, let's be real, it's something catastrophic is going to happen. And then if he goes and wins outdoors, which we both agree with him winning this title is going to give him a big confidence boost. I know that Zacho's your guy, but AP having confidence is going to be it's a thing. It's a thing with him.
It's a thing.
If he wins that outdoor title, I can almost imagine that he is going to make more money than Coop did going into his rookie contract with 450s.
Could be, yeah.
He's going to be a hot commodity.
Yeah, he is a hot commodity from what I hear from industry insiders, which are not us.
No.
He is a hot commodity.
He's just, I mean, dude, I don't know. He's finally putting it together.
I've heard AC's a hot commodity even with his contract.
But see,
the difference next year.
The thing about AC, though, is all people see is raw speed, and that's it, though.
We can work with speed.
But the problem is that
we can work with speed.
They can, but none of the other stuff they don't see with him. They see raw speed, which obviously everybody will go for raw speed. But I think a lot of teams are still up in the air with where's his noggin at half the time.
I've heard a lot of, well, his speed is there, so we can work with that. And once we put him on a 450, it's going to slow down some of the sketchiness because the bike's bigger and stuff like that, and the technique is better for 450.
But see, everybody thinks that that's going to happen with guys like AC, and it never happens that way.
How many times have I told you in the group text? Everybody we talk about is better 450 rider.
Well, there are guys that, the smoother guys, like Plessinger for sure, because he does ride with his legs, and he is smooth. It will literally be, and I've seen him ride a 450 a bunch, even as an amateur, and he was better. But, I mean, everybody thought when Barsha went to a 450 that he was going to have to relax and learn to shift and not rev the piss out of it. That didn't happen. Coop didn't adapt to the 450. I mean, so we can all think that and stuff, but AC, he's not even going to the 450 class till 2020, so that doesn't matter.
Nope.
So,
okay, a couple more quick things. 8-minute main, I thought it could have been longer.
Yeah. And
Phil wins this heat race.
Oh my God. Were you as worried as I was about what he was actually going to say on the podium?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. So, anything else about 250s before we wrap this up? Because that's pretty much it.
Main event winners for the Triple Crown next week. We go back to the East Coast.
I think Zach wins. And
Zach wins what? How many?
I don't know. I think he wins the overall. And I think Eli wins too.
I think that we have 3 different winners in both classes. I think that J-Mart gets one, Faulkner gets one, and Osborne gets one, and Faulkner gets the overall. And I think Ando gets 2, and Eli gets the last one, and Ando continues to extend his points lead. Because Eli proved at the last Triple Crown that he can't really make things happen at the beginning of those mains when he doesn't get a start.
This is true also.
So I think Eli wins the final main, but I think Ando gets the first 2.
I think so too. Yeah, you're probably right on that. So who'd you say for 250s?
I think Faulkner, Zacho, and J-Mart all win mains. Which main, I don't know. And I think Faulkner gets the overall. I think Zacho gets second. But I only say Faulkner gets the overall because I think that, once again, Zacho probably will get a bad start in the first main, like he has the last couple mains, and just put himself in a hole. He'll probably win the last main. He'll probably win the long main. And I think that Faulkner drops it to 4. I think it's, it's 7 points now, so he'll drop it to 4. And hopefully we get a race in Vegas. Because I really don't want to see these titles wrapped up.
Yeah, that would be boring.
Yeah.
So anyway, this has been another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show presented by TLR Coatings. Make sure you subscribe. That was my last subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Hit us up on Instagram. You don't have an Instagram, right?
No.
Yeah. Patreon, Amazon, Teespring links all down below. I will see everyone on Thursday for our preview show for Minneapolis, last round of the Triple Crown, and then we'll see everybody next week wrapping up the Minneapolis Triple Crown race. See ya!